to Charlie Rollins Memorial Gymnasium here on the campus of Elizabethtown High School for 17th District volleyball action between John Hardin and E-Town. We're now going to turn it over to our PA announcer for tonight's starting lineups.
Number 8, Abby Moore. Number 9, Haley Russell. Number 14, Nevaeh Ladson. Number 19, Jamie Riddell. Number 22, Ari Powell. Number 23, Ariella Wilson. And number 25, Kayvon Mayfield. Head coach for the Lady Bulldogs is Walter Hampton. And now the starting lineup for your Elizabethtown Lady Panthers. A 5'3" senior, number 1, Avery Powers. A 6'1" senior, number 2, Josie Smallwood. A 5'4" sophomore, number 3, Alexis Wayscott. A 5'9" senior, number 4, Alex Jenkins. A 5' sophomore, number 5, Lexi Davis. A 5'4" sophomore, number 6, Grace Godfrey. A 6'5" sophomore, number 8, Jessica Smallwood. A 5'8" sophomore, number 9, Addison James. A 5'9" senior, number 10, Ava LaFollette. A 5'6" sophomore, number 11, Ella Brown. A 5'4" junior, number 14, Brooke Snyder. A 5'6" senior, number 17, Jenna West. A 5'2" junior, number 18, Sadie Slicker. And a 5'10" junior, number 19, Alyssa Philpott. Head coach.
So there we have the lineups for both teams. For the Bulldogs, they come in with an 8-8 record on this season. For the Elizabethtown Panthers, they come in with a 7-6 record. This is a Hardin County Educational and Community Television student production. HCEC-TV is a division of Hardin County Schools. Live Channel 1 programming, sponsored in part by Brandenburg Telecom, providing service for all your telecommunication needs. Physical Therapy Associates, more personal attention for more effective results. E-Town Apartments is a family-owned and operated management service with over 30 years of combined experience. Waddell's Auto and Scrap Metal Recycling, a family-owned business with competitive prices, pickup service, and a friendly staff available for all your recycling needs. E-Town Exterminating is a locally owned, family-run pest control company that's been serving the surrounding areas of Kentucky since 1976. Whatever your pest control issues are, their team has the knowledge, skill, and training to safely and effectively eliminate the problem. And West Point Bank, let us help make life simpler. Hometown banking made simple. I'd also like to thank NFHS, the National Federation of High School Sports, and its support in providing live streaming service. Contact NFHS.com to subscribe today. So as the teams head out onto the court for the Bulldogs, we will have Ariana Powell, Abby Moore. The libero will be Isabella Moore. Haley Russell, Isabel Carmen, Aurelia Wilson, and I believe it's going to be Nevaeh Ladson. For Elizabethtown, it'll be Addison James, Ava LaFollette, Alyssa Philpott, Jessica Smallwood, Alexis Waysbrot, and the libero is Avery Powers. Outside, LaFollette. That one popped back over by Russell, sent back over by Russell. Outside for Carmen. She goes back row and gets the kill. Isabel Carmen serving for the Bulldogs. 1 serving 0. Floats that one, ace. 2 serving 0. That one catches the back line. Ace. 3 serving 0. Smallwood to Janes. Back row back for Smallwood. She gets the kills. That goes off a Bulldog. And Ava LaFollette now to the line for the Panthers. 1 serving 3. Carmen to Russell. Outside Ladston across. That goes wide. Point Panthers 2 serving 3. Belmore to Russell. Back row, that one from Powell goes long. 3 serving 3. Carmen to Russell. For Powell again, that one goes long. 4 serving 3. Belmore to Russell. Ladston sends that one over. Jane sets inside for Philpott. One touched at the net. Russell. And now Isabel Moore for Abby Moore. She sends it back row. Powers gets to that one. Janes outside. Smallwood dug by Moore. And Janes was into the net, or went over the net to touch that one. Point Bulldogs. Grace Godfrey checking into the lineup for Elizabethtown. And Aurelia Wilson checking in on the front line for the Bulldogs. Ariana Powell to serve, 4 serving 4. Going into the net. Point Elizabethtown. Jenna West now checking into the lineup for the Panthers as Addison James heads to the service line, 5 serving 4. Isabel Moore to Russell. For Abby Moore, she goes back line. Godfrey got that one to Janes. Now West will send it over. Ladston, Isabel Moore back for Ladston. She'll send it over, touched at the net. Powell pops it in the air. Janes sets it back outside for Jessica Smallwood. She tools the block, gets the kill. Point Panthers. 6 serving 4. Carmen to Russell. For Wilson, that goes long. 7 serving 4. Carmen to Russell. For Abby Moore, one at the net. Like I said, didn't clear the tape. 4 hits. Point E-Town, 8 serving 4. That one into the net. Point Bulldogs. Abby Moore will head to the service line. 5 serving 8. Powers to Janes for Philpott. Back row. Carmen got that one. Isabel Moore to Abby Moore. She'll send it over. Powers right at the net for Janes. Sets outside. Just going to be bumped over by Jessica Smallwood. Abby Moore to Isabel Moore. for Ladson. That one's sent over, popped in the air by Godfrey, and Jessica Smallwood sends it over. This is going to be right at the net. Wilson, that one dug out by Janes. Jessica Smallwood again rolls that one over. Carmen to Ladson. We have a double hit point for the Panthers. And now it'll be Avery Powers to serve as Josie Smallwood checks in on the front line. Carmen, Abby Moore for Russell, back row, gotten to by Godfrey. Janes will bump it back in. Jessica Smallwood sends it over. Carmen to Abby Moore, outside again for Russell. That one doesn't clear the tape. Point Panthers. 10 serving 5. It's the first one to 25, leading by at least 2. And the first is a best 3 out of 5. If we go to the 5th set, it'll be the first one to 15, leading by 2. Isabel Moore not able to get that one back across. Ace for Powers, 11 serving 5. Carmen to Abby Moore into the middle. Wilson will bump that one back row. Godfrey to Janes outside. Jessica Smallwood. That one goes wide. Point John Harden. Deshae Blackwell checking into the lineup for John Harden. She'll head to the service line. 6 serving 11. Powers to Janes. Down the middle, Jessica Smallwood gets the kill. Ava LaFollette back into the lineup for the Panthers. As Jessica Smallwood heads to the service line, 12 serving 6. Isabel Moore to Abby Moore. Outside Carmen. Down the line, back by Janes. It goes wide as it was outside of the antenna. Ariana Powell back in now on the front line for the Bulldogs as Isabel Moore heads to the service line. 7 serving 12. Jessica Smallwood, that one up in the rafters. Powers bumped over by, I believe that was West. Abby Moore at the net. Powell pops it straight up, unable to get it over the net. Point E-Town. And that'll send Addison Janes Jenna West to the service line. 13 serving 7. And we are in set number 1. Blackwell to Abby Moore for Russell. She sends it back row. Jessica Smallwood to Janes. Powers now will bump it to the back row. Deshae Blackwell gets that one. Inside, Powell gets the kill. Assist from Carmen. Alexis Waysbrot and Lexi Davis checking into the lineup for Elizabethtown. It'll be Haley Russell at the line for the Bulldogs. 8 serving 13. Davis to LaFollette. Now Powers will bump it over. Russell to Isabel Moore. Outside for Abby Moore. Off the front line. Dug by Davis. Janes pops it up. Powers again will bump it to the back row. Isabel Moore to Russell. Back sets for Carmen. Touched at the net. Kill for the Bulldogs. 9 serving 13. Davis to Janes, inside for Josie Smallwood, and she gets the kill. Josie Smallwood now at the line for the Panthers, 14 serving 9. Isabel Moore to Russell. Outside for Abby Moore. She gets the kill as she goes off the blockers. Nevaeh Latson back in on the front line for the Bulldogs. It's Isabel Carmen to the service line, 10 serving 14. That goes long. Point Panthers. Ava Follett now to the line to serve. It's Jessica Smallwood checks back in on the front line.
Now serving for E-Town, number 10, Ava Follett.
Isabel Moore to Russell. Outside Latson. She'll go back row, dug by La Follette. Unable to return it. Point Bulldogs. Ariana Powell now to the line for the Bulldogs. Grace Godfrey checks back in on the back line for the Panthers. Aurelia Wilson checks in on the front line for the Bulldogs. 11 serving 15. Powell got a little ahead of the whistle. Now everybody's ready. Powers to Godfrey. Jessica Smallwood over. Goes to Russell. It'll be another kill for Jessica Smallwood. Jenna West now checking in for the Panthers. As Addison James heads to the service line. 16 serving 11. Carmen to Russell. Outside for Wilson. Back line. It's in. And now it'll be Abby Moore heading to the line for John Hardin. 12 serving 16. Godfrey with the overpass, gets all the way back over and finds an open spot. A couple of Bulldogs converges there. Now to be Avery Powers to the service line. Josie Smallwood back in on the front line for E-Town. 17 serving 12. Carmen to Abby Moore for Russell. She'll send back Lance deep. Point Panthers, 18 serving 12. This will be the only time that the Bulldogs and the Panthers meet this year. In the 17th district year, it is the first competition against district opponent that will count in the district seeding. I believe this is the only time that they will meet unless they meet in the district tournament. Carmen to Abby Moore for Russell. She goes cross court. Powers gets that one. To Janes for Jessica Smallwood. Rolls it and finds an open spot on the back line. Point E-Town. Timeout, Bulldogs. This is a Hardin County Educational and Community Television student production. HCEC-TV is a division of Hardin County Schools. Live Channel 1 programming, sponsored in part by Brandenburg Telecom, Physical Therapy Associates, eTownApartments.com, Waddell's Auto and Scrap Metal Recycling, E-Town Exterminating, and West Point Bank. Tune in weekly for all local HCEC-TV programs, airing on Brandenburg Telecom and Comcast Cable Channel 2, Spectrum Communications Channel 184. You can always check out our past broadcast on our YouTube channel. Just search HCEC-TV, subscribe to our channel, and get all your local community sports and events. So we come back to action. The Panthers serving. For John Hardin, their next action will be Friday night. They're scheduled to play 2 games in Lafayette. One of them for sure will be against Newport Central Catholic. That one's scheduled to start at 6 o'clock. For the Panthers, their next ball game will be Thursday, right back here against district rival Central Hardin. This will be the only Central Hardin and E-Town will be meeting for the second time this year, but it will not have any play in the district seedings. Central Hardin won the first one 3-2, and they will be the #1 seed in the 17th district tournament. Powers serving to Carmen, to Abby Moore for Ladson. Just taps over and finds an open spot. That's going to get Deshae Blackwell back in for the Bulldogs. She'll head to the service line. 13 serving 19.
Now serving for the Lady Bulldogs, #2, Shay Blackwell.
Powers to Janes. In the middle for Jessica Smallwood. She gets the kill.
Now serving for the Lady Panthers, #8, Jessica Smallwood.
So Jessica Smallwood now to the service line for Panthers. 20 serving 13. Carmen to Isabel Moore. Back for Carmen. She'll just tap that one. Doesn't clear the tape. Point Panthers. 21 serving 13. That one into the net. Service error. Point Bulldogs. Ariana Powell back in on the front line for the Bulldogs as Isabel Moore heads to the service line. 14 serving 21. Jessica Smallwood to Janes inside Josie Smallwood. Carmen gets that one to Abby Moore outside for Russell. That one doesn't make it over. Point for the Panthers. And Jenna West now to the service line for Elizabethtown. 22 serving 14. Floats that one off speed, doesn't make it over. Point Bulldogs. And Haley Russell now heads to the service line.
Now serving for John Hardin.
Alexis Waysbrot checks back in for the Panthers. 15 serving 22. Jessica Smallwood to Janes outside. La Follette not able to clear the net. Point Bulldogs. 16 serving 22. Jessica Smallwood to Janes across. La Follette, that one doesn't clear. It went outside the antenna. 17 serving 22. Ace. Miscommunication there by the Panthers. 18 serving 22. Follett to Janes in the middle. Josie Smallwood. Abby Moore popped it up. Powell sends it over. Powers to Janes outside. La Follette. That one tipped at the net. Popped back up. Janes again sets it. Jessica Smallwood will send it over. Russell not able to get it to a setter. Point Panthers. Alyssa Philpott back in on the front line for the Panthers as Josie Smallwood heads to serve. 23 serving 18. And John Hardin will take their second timeout. For us here on HCEC-TV Thursday night, we'll be right back here at Elizabethtown High School as the Central Hardin Bruins come to take on the Elizabethtown Panthers. Again, in the past several years, these two teams almost always 4 or 5 sets. Very competitive game between these two schools. Usually they will meet each other, seems like 4 times a year, twice during the regular season, once in the 17th district tournament, and then once again in the 5th region tournament. Anticipating a big crowd for the game Thursday night, and we'll schedule to start at 7:30. Friday night, we're back on the air as the defending 6A state champs, the Bullitt East Chargers, will come to Radcliffe to take on the North Hardin Trojans. Coach Paul Gray will bring you all of that action. Starting kickoff is scheduled for 7:30. Come back, Josie Smallwood with the serve. Blackwell sent over by Abby Moore, and she finds an open spot. She dinked it over out of system, onto space. Nevaeh Ladson back in on the front line for the Bulldogs as Isabel Carmen heads to the service line. 19 serving 23. That one floats over. Overpass, tip back. Tip killed by Abby Moore. 20 serving 23. That one off speed. Powers gets to it. Janes outside, La Follette back row. Gotten by Carmen to Russell for Abby Moore, and she finds able to tip off the blocker's fingers, which threw off Waysbrought, and unable to get it back over. 21 serving 23. Sadie Slinker now into the lineup for the Panthers. Slinker to Janes for Jessica Smallwood, and that one catches the sideline. And it will be set point for the Panthers as Ava La Follette will head to the line. 24 serving 21. Carmen to Russell for Powell. That one touched at the net. Power sends it back over. It was out. Point John Hardin. And Powell will now head to the service line as Ariel Wilson checks in on the front line. 22 serving 24. Powers to Janes outside for Jessica Smallwood, and that will do set number one. Finishes that one off 25-22. Get ready for set number two. This is a Hardin County Educational and Community Television student production. HCEC-TV is a division of Hardin County Schools. Live Channel 1 programming sponsored in part by Brandenburg Telecom, providing service for all your telecommunication needs. Physical Therapy Associates. More personal attention for more effective results with locations in Elizabethtown, Hodgenville, Radcliffe, and South Louisville. Online at physicaltherapyky.com. E-Town Apartments is a family-owned and operated management service with over 30 years of combined experience. For those who are serving our country in the military, a discount is available. Take a virtual tour today at etownapartments.com. Waddell's Auto and Scrap Metal Recycling, a family-owned business with competitive prices, pickup service, and a friendly staff available for all your recycling needs. Located at 311 Steel Drive in Elizabethtown. Call 270-982-7206 to talk to someone about scrapping metal and recycling. E-Town Exterminating is a locally owned family-run pest control company that has been serving Hardin, Meade, Grayson, and Nelson counties and the surrounding areas of Kentucky since 1976. Whatever your pest control issues are, termites, spiders, crickets, general pests, even moles, their team has the knowledge, skill, and training to safely and effectively eliminate the problem. Call 270-737-6900 or go online at mugabug.com. And West Point Bank, with 5 offices located in Elizabethtown, Radcliffe, Upton, Glendale, and West Point. Let us help make life simpler. Hometown banking made simple. Online at westpointbank.com. Tune in weekly for all local HCEC-TV programs airing on Brandenburg Telecom and Comcast Cable Channel 2, Spectrum Communications Channel 184. And you can always check out our past broadcast on our YouTube channel. Just search HCEC-TV, subscribe to our channel, and get all your local community sports and events. I'd like to thank our student workers for their help this evening. Our crew chief is Jackson Houston. Our camera operators are Grant Bush and Malachi Willis. And our technical director is Jennifer Charlton, all under the direction of Mr. John White. Two teams finalizing their roster for set number 2. On the court for the Bulldogs here in set number 2, Haley Russell, Ariel Wilson, Tashay Blackwell, Abby Moore, Ariana Powell, and Izzy Carmen, with Isabel Moore set to check in as the libero. For the Panthers, Josie Smallwood, Alyssa Philpott, Jessica Smallwood, Addison James, Ava LaFollette, Lexi Davis, and it will be Avery Powers checking in as the libero. And Elizabethtown will have first serve here in this second set. Jessica Smallwood will start it off for Elizabethtown here in set number 2. Isabel Moore to Russell, outside for Carmen. Off the front line, Davis gets to that one. James pops it up. LaFollette now goes across. That one dug by Isabel Moore to Russell. Cross for Abby Moore, and unable to return as a blocked by Josie Smallwood. 1 serving 0. One serving 0. Blackwell to Abby Moore. Blackwell will bump this one over. Powers to James. Back sets for Josie Smallwood. She goes back row. Russell got to it, unable to control it after that. Point E-Town. You can play the ball out of the rafters here at Elizabethtown High School. There are banners up there as well. Any area over the playing surface can be played out of, except it cannot go over the net. You have to play it to your own side. That one into the net. Service error. Point for the Bulldogs and serve. Nevaeh Latson back in on the front line as Izzy Carmen now serving for the Bulldogs. 1 serving 2. That one just trickles over. It'll be an ace. 2 serving 2. Powers to James, inside Josie Smallwood, tipped over. Latson gets that one to Russell. Back to the middle. Carmen will send it over. Davis to James, outside. LaFollette back row. Carmen gets that one to Russell. Back sets for Latson. She'll just tap that one over. Powers to James, outside again for LaFollette. Tipped over. Powell sends it right back. Now Josie Smallwood takes a rip at that one as it had gone over the net. Gets the kill. Ella Brown checking in on the front line for Elizabethtown. As it'll be Addison James serving for the Panthers. 3 serving 2. Isabel Moore to Russell, outside. Latson, that one blocked at the net by Smallwood. Isabel Moore up again. Now Abby Moore sends it over. Powers to James, back row for Jessica Smallwood. Isabel Moore gets to that one, not going to be able to get it to a teammate And it'll be a point for the Panthers. 4 serving 2. More on the overpass. Josie Smallwood to James, back to Josie Smallwood, dug out by Carmen to Russell. Outside, Abby Moore not able to get that one over. Point E-Town. 5 serving 2. That will go wide. Point for for John Harden. Ariana Powell will head to the service line. Ariel Wilson back in on the front line for the Bulldogs. 3 serving 5. Jessica Smallwood to Janes for Josie Smallwood off the front line. Russell gets that one to Carmen. Now Abby Moore will roll it back line. Jessica Smallwood gets to that one, but not going to be able to get it to a teammate. Point Bulldogs. 4 serving 5. Off-speed, Powers gets to it. James pops it up. Not going to be able to return it. Point Bulldogs. 5 serving 5. That goes long. Point Panthers. Alyssa Philpott back in for Elizabethtown. And it'll be Josie Smallwood at the service line for Elizabethtown. 6 serving 5. Isabel Moore to Russell. Outside for Wilson. She goes off the blockers and gets the kill. Abby Moore will head to the line for John Harden. 6 serving 6. Powers to Janes for La Follette, and it's blocked at the net by Wilson. 7 serving 6. Powers to Janes in the middle for Philpott. We have a net violation on the Bulldogs. Point E-Town. Ava La Follette now to the line for the Panthers. 7 serving 7. Isabel Moore to Carmen. Now to be for Russell. She'll roll that one back line. Powers gets it. James right at the net, sets it, and it'll just be bumped over by Jessica Smallwood. Abby Moore to Isabel Moore for Russell. She goes back line. Powers gets that one to James. Now sets outside. Jessica Smallwood swings. That one's wide. Point Bulldogs. Deshae Blackwell back in for the Bulldogs as Grace Godfrey checks back in for Elizabethtown. Blackwell will head to the service line. 8 serving 7. To the top net. Godfrey gets that one to James. Outside, Jessica Smallwood. One dug out by Blackwell that bounces around in the rafters, comes out right near the John Harden bench. I believe it was Abby Moore went sliding into the bench area. A little slow getting up, but will stay in the match. Lexi Davis now entering for the Panthers. She'll head to the service line. 8 serving 8. Blackwell to Abby Moore for Wilson. That one blocked to the net by Smallwood. Isabel Moore got to that one. They bump it back inside. Moore just taps it over. Jessica Smallwood sends it back. Abby Moore outside for Russell. Janes for Smallwood, and then sent back over by the Bulldogs again. Janes sets up Jessica Smallwood again. That will be a kill. Good rally on both sides there. 9 serving 8. Isabel Moore to Abby Moore for Russell. Back line. Powers got to that one. Bangs up. Godfrey gets to it. Powers sends it over. Carmen to Abby Moore. Back for Carmen. She'll just send it. It's blocked at the net by Jessica Smallwood. Point Panthers. 10 serving 8. Blackwell to Isabel Moore, and that one got hung up in a banner. Not going to be able to get it over. Point Panthers. 11 serving 8. Carmen to Isabel Moore. Back for Carmen. She'll roll it back line. Godfrey to James in the middle for Philpott. Philpott gets the kill. 12 serving 8. That goes long. Service error, point for the Bulldogs. Ariana Powell back in on the front line. So Isabel Moore heads to the service line. 9 serving 12. Godfrey to James. Outside Jessica Smallwood. She gets the kill. Josie Smallwood back in on the front line for the Panthers. Avery Powers to the service line. 13 serving 9. Blackwell to Carmen. Powell will send it over. Powers to James for Josie Smallwood. Blackwell digs that one out to Isabel Moore. Now it'll be Abby Moore. They'll send it back row. Godfrey to James. Outside Jessica Smallwood. She gets the kill. 14 serving 9. Up to Moore by Abby Moore. Powell sends that one over. Davis sends it right back at the net. James taps it over. Russell sends it right back. Josie Smallwood will get it, and Bulldogs not able to return it. And with that, John Hardin will take their first timeout of set number 2. This is a Hardin County Educational and Community Television student production. HCEC-TV is a division of Hardin County Schools. Live Channel 1 programming sponsored in part by Brandenburg Telecom, Physical Therapy Associates, eTownApartments.com, Waddell's Auto and Scrap Metal Recycling, eTown Exterminating, and West Point Bank. I'd also like to thank NFHS, the National Federation of High School Sports, and its support in providing live streaming service. Contact NFHS.com to subscribe today. Again, we are back here on Thursday night for volleyball action as the much anticipated rematch between the Central Hardin Bruins and the Elizabethtown Panthers, scheduled to start at 7:30. Their match earlier this season, it went to 5 sets with the Bruins pulling it out. Friday night, we're back on the air. We will be at North Hardin High School as Bullitt East comes to take on the Trojans. Kickoff time scheduled for 7:30. Coach Paul Gray will bring you all of that action. So back to action. Avery Powers at the line for the Panthers, 15 serving 9. That goes wide. Service error, point to the Bulldogs. And Haley Russell will head to the service line, 10 serving 15. That one doesn't quite clear the tape. Point serve back to the Panthers. Ava Follett will check in on the front line for Elizabethtown as Jessica Smallwood hits to the service line, 16 serving 10. Isabel Moore to Russell, outside Abby Moore. She'll go back line. Jessica Small gets that one right at the net. James taps it over. Carmen to Russell. Played back into the middle. Powell send it back row. Powers to James for Josie Smallwood. That doesn't clear the tape. Point Bulldogs. Nevaeh Lanson back in on the front line for John Harden. Isabel Carmen will head to the service line, 11 serving 16. And that one's an ace. 12 serving 16. Jessica Smallwood to James, outside. LaFollette not able to get that one over. Point Bulldogs, 13 serving 16. Powers to James, back row. Jessica Smallwood takes a swing. That one's in. Point Panthers. Addison James now to serve for Elizabethtown, 17 serving 13. An ace, 18 serving 13. Carmen to Russell. Outside Ladson off the front line gets the kill for the Bulldogs. Ariana Powell heads to the service line. Ariel Wilson heads to the front line for the Bulldogs. 14 serving 18. James pops it up. Powers will send it over. Abby Moore to Russell for Ladson. Blocked at the net by Josie Smallwood, and the Bulldogs unable to return it. Point E-Town. Josie Smallwood will head to the service line. Alyssa Philpott back in on the front line. Josie Smallwood to serve, 19 serving 14. Carmen to Russell, not able to get that one in. Point E-Town. With that, John Harden will take their second timeout. Again, for Elizabethtown, their next match will be in 2 days, Thursday, right back here as they will face off against the Central Hardin Maroons. Scheduled start time is 7:30. For John Harden, they're back in action on Fridays. They will travel to Lexington to play at Lafayette. The only game they have scheduled right now is a 6 o'clock game against Newport Central Catholic. They will play a second game. They just don't know what time nor what team they will play. For us, we're here at E-Town again for Central Hardin volleyball action. And then on Friday, we'll be at North Hardin as the Trojans host the Bullet East Chargers. Kickoff set for 7:30. Come back to action. Josie Smallwood will be at the service line for the Panthers. 20 serving 14. Carmen to Russell. To Abby Moore. Backline. Josie Smallwood gets that one. Janes to Jessica Smallwood. Isabel Moore pulls that one out. Russell to Abby Moore, and she gets the kill. And Abby Moore will head to the service line for getting that kill. 15 serving 20. Powers to Janes outside. Gotten over. Abby Moore back outside for Russell. Back row Powers gets that one. Outside, La Follette goes across. Isabel Moore sends it right back at the net. La Follette with the tip kill on the overpass. Point Panthers. Sorry, I didn't see that Ella Brown had checked in for Elizabethtown. Now going to the line, Ava La Follette. 21 serving 15. That one into the net. Point Bulldogs. Grace Godfrey will come back in for Elizabethtown as Deshae Blackwell checks back in for the Bulldogs, and she'll head to the service line. 16 serving 21. Into the net. Lexi Davis back into the lineup for the Panthers, and she'll head to the service line. 22 serving 16. Blackwell to Abby Moore. Outside for Carmen. Carmen goes back row. Davis gets it right at the net. Philpott send it over. Carmen sends it back. Powers to Janes. Outside. Jessica Smallwood. She gets the kill. 23 serving 16. We are in set number 2. E-Town won set number 1, 25-22. Is a best 3 of 5 tonight. Out service error. Right now, Isabel Moore will head to the service line. Ariana Powell checks in on the front line for the Bulldogs. 17 serving 23. Godfrey to Janes. Inside, Philpott tapped that one over. Carmen gets to it. Isabel Moore outside for Russell. She rolls it to the center. Jessica Smallwood to Janes. Back for Jessica Smallwood. Back right corner. Another kill for Smallwood. And it'll be set point as Avery Powers heads to the service line. Actually, it'll be Alyssa Philpott who heads to the service line. Josie Smallwood back in on the front line. 24 serving 17. And that'll be an ace, and that will do it for set number 2. E-Town now leads 2-0. We get ready for set number 3. This is a Hardin County Educational and Community Television student production. HCEC-TV is a division of Hardin County Schools. Live channel and programming sponsored in part by Brandenburg Telecom, providing service for all your telecommunication needs. Physical Therapy Associates, more personal attention for more effective results. With locations in Elizabethtown, Hodgenville, Radcliffe, and South Louisville. Online at physicaltherapyky.com. E-Town Apartments is a family-owned and operated management service with over 30 years of combined experience. For those who are serving our country in the military, a discount is available. Take a virtual tour today at etownapartments.com. Waddell's Auto and Scrap Metal Recycling, a family-owned business with competitive prices, pickup service, and a friendly staff available for all your recycling needs. Located at 311 Steel Drive in Elizabethtown, call 270-982-7206 to talk to someone about scrapping metal and recycling. E-Town Exterminating is a locally owned family-run pest control company and has been serving Hardin, Meade, Grayson, and Nelson counties and the surrounding areas of Kentucky since 1976. Whatever your pest control issues are, termites, spiders, crickets, general pests, even moles, their team has the knowledge, skill, and training to safely and effectively eliminate the problem. Call 270-737-6900 or go online at mugabug.com. West Point Bank has 5 offices located in Elizabethtown, Radcliffe, Upton, Glendale, and West Point. Let us help make life simpler. Hometown banking made simple online at West Point Bank. I'd also like to thank NFHS, the National Federation of High School Sports, in its support in providing live streaming service. Contact NFHS.com to subscribe today. Tune in weekly for all local HCEC-TV programs airing on Brandenburg Telecom and Comcast Cable Channel 2 and Spectrum Communications Channel 184. You can always check out our past broadcasts on our YouTube channel. Just search HCEC-TV, subscribe to our channel, and get all your local community sports and events. I'd like to thank all of our student workers for making tonight's broadcast possible. Our crew chief is Jackson Houston. Our camera operators are Grant Bush and Malachi Willis. Our technical director is Jennifer Charlton. And our director tonight is Mr. John White. And all of our workers here at HCEC-TV show up approximately 2 hours before game start time to set up everything. I get the easy part. I get to come in and just put on a headset and start calling the games. They have to get here early and then leave late, as they will have to break down all of our equipment, store it back up. We get ready for set number 3 on the court for the Bulldogs. Ariel Wilson, Haley Russell, Ariana Powell, Nevaeh Ladson, Abby Moore, and Isabel Carmen, with Isabel Moore set to check in as the libero. For Elizabethtown, Alyssa Philpott, Addison James, Ava LaFollette, Jenna West, Josie Smallwood, Jessica Smallwood, and it'll be Avery Powers who checks in as the libero. Isabel Carmen will serve first for the Bulldogs. Powers to Janes, out, that's a double hit. That'll be a point Bulldogs. 1 serving 0. Jessica Smallwood not going to be able to return that. It's an ace. 2 serving 0. Philpott to James, back for Philpott, off the front line. Powell, Russell gets to that one. To Isabel Moore outside, Abby Moore, she'll roll it back line. Jessica Smallwood there to James, outside, LaFollette. She goes across court, gets the kill. Ava LaFollette now to serve for the Panthers, 1 serving 2. Carmen to Russell. In the middle for Abby Moore. She takes it off the blockers. Point Bulldogs. Ariel Wilson checks in on the front line. Ariana Powell to the service line. 3 serving 1. Powers to Janes. In the middle for Philpott, that's going to go long. 4 serving 1. Powers, that's going to be an overpass. Wilson not able to get it. Point E-Town. Isabel Moore checks back in for the Bulldogs. The back line. Sadie Slinker checking in and heading to the service line for the Panthers. 2 serving 4. Into the net. Point John Harden. And Abby Moore will head to the service line. 5 serving 2. Slinker overpass. Isabel Moore to Abby Moore. Sets for Ladson. She goes cross court. Dug out by Weisbrot. Now popped back over Isabel Moore. Abby Moore just tap it over. Powers diving in, gets that one. James outside, Jessica Smallwood, and unable to return it. And good rally by both teams. Point for the Panthers. And that will send Alyssa Philpott to the line to serve for Elizabethtown as Josie Smallwood checks back in on the front line. 3 serving 5. Isabel Moore to Ladson, and then it'll be Wilson that sends it over. Weisbrot to James, outside Jessica Smallwood. That one dug by Isabel Moore to Abby Moore. Across, Russell now will send it over. Slinker to James, outside Jessica Smallwood, goes back line. Carmen gets that one, and that one goes out of play and will be a point for the Panthers. Four serving 5. Isabel Moore right at the net. Popped in there by Abby Moore. Wilson sends it back row. Weisbrot gets that one to James in the middle for Josie Smallwood. That's long. Point Bulldogs. Deshae Blackwell up for the Bulldogs. She'll head to the service line. Avery Powers checks back in on the back line for the Panthers. 6 serving 4. That one's short. Point Elizabethtown. And it'll be Jessica Smallwood who heads to the service line. Ava LaFollette back in on the front line for Elizabethtown. 5 serving 6. Belmore right at line. A tip kill on the overpass for Josie Smallwood. 6 serving 6. Carmen to Abby Moore, back for Carmen. She'll send it back row. Slinker to James inside. Josie Smallwood gets the kill. Good short set that time from James to Josie Smallwood. 7 serving 6. That'll be another overpass. LaFollette gets that kill. And with that, John Harden will take a timeout. This is a Hardin County Educational and Community Television student production. HCEC-TV is a division of Hardin County Schools. Live Channel 1 programming, sponsored in part by Brandenburg Telecom, Physical Therapy Associates, eTownApartments.com, Waddell's Auto and Scrap Metal Recycling, eTown Exterminating, West Point Bank, and the National Federation of High School Sports. Again, for us here on HCEC-TV, we will be right back here Thursday night as the Central Hardin Bruins come to take on the Elizabethtown Panthers in volleyball action. Friday night we will be at North Hardin as the Trojans will host Bullitt East. Kickoff scheduled for 7:30 there. So we come back to action. That'll be Jessica Smallwood at the service line for Elizabethtown. 8 serving 6. Here's the ball. Isabel Moore to Abby Moore. For Wilson, back row Jessica Smallwood to Janes, inside for Josie Smallwood. Off speed, sent back over. Russell. The ball not over. A kill for the Bulldogs. Ariana Powell back in on the front line for John Harden as Isabel Moore heads to the service line. 7 serving 8. Ace. 8 serving 8. Jessica Smallwood to Janes, across LaFollette. That one dug out by Isabel Moore right at the net. And that's going to be a net violation on the Bulldogs as Powell went under the net. Jenna West checks back in on the front line for the Panthers. Madison Jane to serve. 9 serving 8. Carmen to Abby Moore for Powell. Off the blockers. LaFollette pops it in the air. Back for Janes now. Jessica Smallwood blocked again by Powell. Janes in the middle. Josie Smallwood. That goes wide. Point Bulldogs. And Haley Russell ahead to the service line. 9 serving 9. Jessica Smallwood to Janes. Outside LaFollette just going to tap that one over. Abby Moore pops it up. Russell for Carmen. She'll roll that one over. Janes to Powers for LaFollette. Down the middle. Gets the kill. Alyssa Philpott back in on the front line for the Panthers as Josie Smallwood heads to the service line. 10 serving 9. Blackwell to Abby Moore. Carmen will send this one over. Jessica Smallwood to Janes. Outside LaFollette just tapped over. Russell gets that one to Isabel Moore. Back sets for Abby Moore. Backline, Josie Smallwood to Janes. In the middle, Philpott goes off speed. Russell sends it back over. West to Janes. Outside LaFollette. That doesn't clear the tape. Point Bulldogs. Vea Lanson back in on the front line for the Bulldogs. Avery Powers back in on the back line for the Panthers. Isabel Carmen serving. 10 serving 10. That doesn't clear the tape. Ava LaFollette. Oh. Alexis Weisbrot checking into the lineup for Elizabethtown. She'll head to the service line. 11 serving 10. That doesn't clear the tape. Back-to-back service errors. That's going to send Ariana Powell to the line for the Bulldogs. Ariel Wilson back in on the front line. 11 serving 11. Weisbrot to Janes in the middle for Philpott. It was off a couple of Bulldogs. Point E-Town. Isabel Moore back in on the back line for John Harden. Jenna West to the service line. 12 serving 11. Isabel Moore to Russell for Abby Moore, back corner. She gets the kill. Back and forth. Abby Moore will head to the service line. 12 serving 12. Sadie Slinker back in for the Panthers on the back line. Waysbrod overpass. Russell gets that one to Abby Moore outside. Russell again. Powers gets to that one to Waysbrod outside. Jessica Smallwood blocked by Ladson. E-Town able to get it, but it goes back wide. Point Bulldogs. 13 serving 12. That doesn't make it. Point Panthers. And Alyssa Philpott will head to the service line. Josie Smallwood back in on the front line. 13 serving 13. Carmen to Abby Moore outside. Russell will take this one. Backline Waysbrod gets that. Jane's going to bump set to the middle. Jessica Smallwood just send it over. Ladson unable to return. Like I say, it was a double hit. Point Panthers. 14 serving 13. Service error. Avery Powers back in on the back line for the Panthers. Kiana Mayfield now into the lineup for the Bulldogs. She'll head to the service line. 14 serving 14. That doesn't clear the tape. Shay Blackwell back in for the Bulldogs. Ava Follett back in for the Panthers on the front line. Jessica Smallwood to the service line. 15 serving 14. That'll be into the net. Several service errors here in the third set. Ariana Powell back in on the front line for John Hart as Isabel Moore heads to the service line. 15 serving 15. Powers to Janes for Josie Smallwood, blocked at the net. Janes pops in the air. Powers for La Follette. She goes off the front line, not able to get it back. And it'll be a point for Elizabethtown. Jenna West will check back in on the front line for E-Town as Addison James heads to the service line. 16 serving 15. Carmen to Abby Moore. Outside Powell, she tools the block. And Haley Russell now to the line for the Bulldogs. 16 serving 16. Jessica Smallwood to Janes. It'll be Josie Smallwood just sends it over. Isabel Moore to Russell in the middle for Powell, and Powell with another kill. 17 serving 16. Jessica Smallwood, Panthers not able to return it. Point Bulldogs, 18 serving 16. Powers to Janes. Outside La Follette, she'll go cross. Isabel Moore there to Russell. Back sets for Carmen. Carmen goes off the blockers. And Carmen landed awkward on her right ankle. See who's going to stay in the match. Just landed funny off the hit. Let's get the point for the Bulldogs, 19 serving 16. I'm going to let Carmen tie her shoes. Powers overpass. Abby Moore to Powell, just gets it to trickle over. The Follett sends it up in there. Janes, it's going to be a back row attack by Jessica Smallwood off the front line and gets the kill. Alyssa Philpott back in on the front line for the Panthers as Josie Smallwood heads to the service line. 17 serving 19. Blackwell, and that one went off. Looks like the banner for the 1998 state championship girls basketball banner falls to the floor. 18 serving 19. Ace, 19 serving 19. Kayana Mayfield checking back in for the Bulldogs on the back line. Abby Moore to Russell, back outside for Abby Moore. That one blocked at the net by Philpott. 20 serving 19. Isabel Moore to Mayfield at the net. Powell taps it over. Janes to Jessica Smallwood for La Follette. She'll send it over. That goes long. Point Bulldogs. Nevaeh Latson back in for John Hardin. She'll go to the front line as that'll be Isabel Carmen now to the service line. 20 serving 20. That goes long. Serve and point back to the Panthers. Lexi Davis to check in for Elizabethtown. She'll head to the service line. 21 serving 20. Carmen to Russell. Outside, Latson sends that one over. Janes to Powers. For Jessica Smallwood just goes off speed, dinks it in there. 22 serving 20, and John Hardin will take their second timeout. For E-Town, their next match will be right back here on Thursday night here on HCEC-TV as the Central Hardin Bruins come to take on the Panthers in volleyball action. It will not have any effect on the 17th District Tournament. Their earlier game this year won by Central Hardin. Central Hardin will be the #1 seed in the 17th District Tournament. Some of the other seeds have not been settled just yet. A few more games to be played. For John Hardin, they're back in action on Friday night. They have a to-be-determined opponent Friday night. They do know that they're going to play Newport Central Catholic at 6 o'clock, and that'll be at Lexington Lafayette High School. And then there's another game later that night. They don't know what time nor who the opponent will be. Next week, it'll be volleyball action on Monday night as North Hardin and John Hardin square off. On Wednesday night, it'll be North Hardin and John Hardin in girls soccer action. And then next Friday, it will be here at Elizabethtown High School as they host Louisville Central. Lexi Davis to serve, 22 serving 20, and an ace. 23 serving 20. The service error. Point Bulldogs. Ariel Wilson back in on the front line. Ariana Powell, to serve. 21 serving 23. Davis to Janes. Bumps across. Jessica Smallwood rolls it back line. Carmen there to Russell. Outside Abby Moore. And Abby Moore gets the kill. 22 serving 23. Powers to James. Powers knocks it back over backline. Russell outside for Abby Moore. She'll roll it to the back. That goes off the Panthers, and we're all tied, 23 apiece. Davis to Powers. Now to go over the net, back over, and it'll be set point for the Bulldogs. Nevaeh Latson with the tip kill. 24 serving 23. Davis to Janes. Back across. Jessica Smallwood will bump it back line. Carmen to Russell for Abby Moore. She'll just bump that one over. Jessica Smallwood to Janes. Back for Jessica Smallwood. That one dug out by Carmen. Not going to be able to control it. Kill Jessica Smallwood. Point Elizabethtown. And Grace Godfrey will check back in for Elizabethtown. She'll head to the service line. 24 serving 24. Again, you must be leading by 2. We'll get at least a little extra free volleyball here. Isabel Moore to Russell for Abby Moore. Back corner. Godfrey gets to that one. James outside for Jessica Smallwood. Off speed, gets it to the floor. And it'll be match point for the Panthers. 25 serving 24. Carmen to Russell. Outside Wilson blocked, and that'll be it as that one didn't clear the net. And Elizabethtown will win set number 3, 26-24 in the match. 3-0. This is a Hardin County Educational and Community Television student production. HCEC-TV is a division of Hardin County Schools. Live Channel 1 sponsored in part by Brandenburg Telecom, Physical Therapy Associates, eTownApartments.com, Waddell's Auto and Scrap Metal Recycling, eTown Exterminating, and West Point Bank. Again, we'd like to thank all of our student workers here at HCEC-TV. Camera operators Grant Bush and Malachi Willis. Our technical director is Jennifer Charlton. Crew Chief Jackson Houston, all under the direction of Mr. John White. Again, we are back here at Elizabethtown Thursday night as it'll be the rematch between the Central Hardin Bruins and the Elizabethtown Panthers in volleyball action. For all of us here at HCEC-TV, I am Bobby Thompson saying so long and good night.